And welcome to a new episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Sklansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Sklansky. I tried to do the bass. Didn't work.
Oh, you have no bass.
I have no bass.
That's okay.
Because I want all the snakes in my house. I don't want them to die.
Uh-huh. Well, let's just whack it then.
No, that's horrible.
We're just going to whack it. Whack it good. We'll whack it slow, and then we'll whack it fast.
I hate you.
And then
I
all
hate
the
you so much.
Man, you don't like whacking your snake? I like whacking my snake. Unbelievable. This is ridiculous. Anyway.
This is season 4, episode 20. By the way, nice. Episode 420. This is whacking day.
Well, didn't you know whacking it on 420 is the best?
Oh my God. We're moving on. There's enough of it in this episode. So the air date is April 29th, 1993. We have, after this episode, 2 more episodes left, season 4.
Woohoo! Or not. I'm not sure how our feelings on leaving season 4 is going to be.
I mean, I feel like season 4 flew by.
I know. It's been rolling
crazy.
So fast.
And we've had some really, really good episodes, and we've had some weird episodes, and now we're gonna get another episode with a really cool guest star in this episode. Because the recap, Barry White helps Lisa to save snakes from whacking day, and Bart is expelled from school for the first time.
Yes,
the first time. So. Our chalkboard gag this week, I will return the seeing eye dog. I mean, I get it, Bart. I get it. I would definitely, it's wrong to steal a seeing eye dog, but I love dogs. They're
blind?
awesome.
Now, was it this blind guy that had Laddie, or
no.
Is there a blind kid at school that had it?
Maybe. I'm assuming so.
And he stole the blind kid's dog?
Yeah. Bart's a horrible person.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. Don't steal seeing eye dogs, folks.
No, don't pet dogs that are like emotional support or even seeing eye dogs, because they're trained in a very specific way. Ask the owner first.
Yep.
So our couch gag, another repeat. Man, they got really lazy with writing couch gags. This is the small chair couch gag where there's a tiny chair in the room and they all sit on it. And this is a repeat from What's My Name? That name again is Mr. Plow.
Do you think that was planned because they have a repeat from Mr. Plow and this episode is about Homer whacking it?
No, this episode is not about Homer whacking it.
He whacks a lot of snakes. Okay, maybe not. We'll see. All right. So now we get a shot of the Springfield Elementary. And so as I think we mentioned, like really early on, when they zoom in on the school and do the flyover after the Simpsons, the school's purple. And in later episodes, we see that the school is actually a gold color, yellow gold color. And I don't know how much, I honestly can't remember other outdoor shots, but I feel like the school on even now is yellowish, but we get a purplish shot of the school again. So I don't know. I think the next time I watch an episode, I'm just gonna, if they go to Springfield Elementary, just look at it, because maybe this is like a Mandela effect where we think it's actually yellow and it's really purple and we just never knew. So
no, because I'm pretty sure the episode where Bart, I think it's the lottery episode where Bart, like, you know, he's like, he won the lottery and he has like giant ants destroy the school. And I'm pretty sure the school is yellow in that.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll just take a look at it again. We'll put a pin in it and we'll come back to it, because it's been a while since we've actually talked about the color of the school.
Yeah.
So now we get this Skinner over the PA telling the kids that Super Nintendo Chalmers, or Superintendent Chalmers as he is actually named, is coming for an inspection. And Krabappel's classroom is a mess. We see like just stuff everywhere flowing out of trash cans. Yeah. Bart opens it up to clean it out, and it's literally a landfill. And seagulls come in and perch on it. That's a pretty good joke.
By the way, this is not the episode where Ralph calls him Super Nintendo Chalmers.
No, it's not. Sorry, I don't want to get your guys' hopes up on that at all.
Yes.
And so then Skinner announces that Jimbo, Nelson, and Bart have won new bikes.
Yep.
And head to the utility closet in the basement.
Now, I'd like to point out, so when he announces them winning, so when we first enter Krabappel's classroom, Milhouse is actually sitting up front. I believe he throws a paper airplane. But when he makes the announcements, he says Bart, which we see him in the classroom, Jimbo, who is in the hallway cutting down a speaker, which is hilarious, and then Nelson outside with Milhouse shoving crud down Milhouse's shirt. So how is Milhouse in the classroom and then outside?
There's two Milhouses.
Maybe. I do like the fact that, like, I love when Skinner makes that announcement. Nelson's like shoving the crud down Milhouse's shirt. He's like, I want you to keep shoving crud down your shirt until I get back. And Milhouse is like, yes, sir. Like, he just goes with it.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And so I like how Skinner leaves the mic on. And this is the first time he's left the mic on after making an announcement. And he's laughing and calling them fools. And, he's like, oh, I left the mic on. Oh well. And then it turns it off. I mean, that was pretty good. And then, so now we see that when Bart and Nelson and Jimbo are all at the closet, or utility closet or whatever, Kearney and Dolph are with them in the basement.
Oh, yeah, we never heard him announce those two. Now, maybe we weren't supposed to hear it, or maybe we were supposed to hear it and they forgot to have the...
Yeah, I wonder if just the announcement or the script actually forgot their names.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely possible. Or, Jimbo and Kearney were like, hey, or Nelson and Jimbo were like, oh, we're friends with Dolph and Kearney. They want free bikes too. We'll invite them.
Yeah.
And so they go to the Civic Defense Shelter, which I'm assuming is for, a hurricane or tornado or, a natural disaster because there's like cots and supplies in there.
Yeah.
And that's where the mountain bikes are supposedly are, because there's a note on the door that says, mountain bikes are here.
Yep.
And so they walk in and like, where's the mini bikes? And Skinner shuts the door behind them. And
now here's the thing. Skinner made the announcement. He laughed about it. And I feel like the kids got down there before he did. Like, did Skinner
No,
just
that's
like
fine. They could get down there before them because they still have to enter the room.
Yeah, but did Skinner sprint down to the basement just to hide in the rafters?
No, I think he probably was just monitoring the hallway to see when they headed down there and just followed them. I don't think it was any quick. He just got done with the announcement and followed them.
Yeah, but then that would imply that they got down to that room before he did if he followed them.
Yes, that's the only way Skinner would have been able to shut the door behind him. By getting down there.
But he was hiding in the ceiling when the kids entered the room.
Yeah, there's a secret trap door in Skinner's office to the basement ceiling conduit pipes or whatever, the vents. He knew how to get there.
Yeah. Anyways.
And so the bullies and Bart, are now locked away because they can't mess up Chalmers' visit. Which, to be fair, there are other kids in the school that could possibly, mess up.
Also, why wouldn't you hide Ralph?
Well, exactly. I haven't gotten there yet. That's what I was alluding to, is that there's other ways that their thing can be messed up.
Yep.
And so Skinner, asks Willie if he would like him on, like him for locking down the kids. And he's like, would you judge me harshly if I threw away the key? No, but the PTA would tear you a new arse. No, wise counsel, William. No, but the potty talk adds nothing. Yeah, Aye, no, sir. You're bath taking, underpants wearing lily hugger.
No, Skinner had asked if the world would look down on him as a misprint.
Yeah, the world would would the world judge me harshly if I threw away the key?
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, Okay, if I found out a principal locked kids in a storage closet just because he didn't want the kids to mess up a visit from the superintendent, I'd be like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, but honestly, Chalmers was pretty unimpressed anyway, so I feel like no matter what, it's Skinner. Come on, yeah. It's Skinner.
So, and this is our first appearance of Superintendent Chalmers.
Yep. And so Chalmers tells Skinner they are getting rid of geography. And good. Back to the 3 R's. 2 coming October.
Okay, I've always had a problem with the 3 R's because it's writing, reading, and arithmetic. That is 1 R because writing starts with a W and arithmetic starts with an A.
Yeah, but I think it's how it's pronounced.
I don't care.
Sure.
That's not how you teach kids how to spell.
Sure it's not. You don't know how to spell. Okay, maybe you do. All right, so and so now Nelson is starting to have a nervous breakdown, for there not being any bullies in the school. And Bart's like, okay, I gotta get out of here. Looks up, sees a vent. And, he's like, hey, guys, I could probably fit in the vent. And so, good idea, Bart. And so they hoist him up and, squeeze in. And then, Nelson hucks a rock at him.
Yeah. What? Like, I love how, Jimbo's like, Bart, you're our only hope to get out of here. And then Nelson, hits Bart with a rock. At that point, why would Bart want to help them now? He just got bullied by Nelson. I would say, screw this. They're locked in here.
Yep. And I love how during Nelson's breakdown, he's like, imagine a school with no bullies. Science geeks not getting beat up. Kids using their lunch money for food. I can't take it.
So then we cut to Skinner and Chalmers in the cafeteria. He's like, oh, can I interest you in a Jell-O brick? There's a grape in the middle.
Well, I'm not made of stone.
Oh, I hate it. So now we cut outside, and apparently Willie is in love with his tractor.
Oh, yeah. He loves that tractor dearly.
And this is just so random. So a Scotswoman shows up out of the blue, and she's like, oh, is there a place Alaska to wash your hair? And Willie's like, well, there's a pool back at my apartment you can wash up in.
And then she kind of looks at, she's like, oh, okay.
It's just, there's not another way to get Willie off screen so Bart could steal the tractor?
Oh, a hot Scotswoman would definitely do the trick.
But it's just so random. I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense.
Why? A 6-foot Wookiee on Endor does not make sense. So this is the second episode in a row I got to use that. Thanks for fueling my Wookiee fire, Robert.
You're welcome. So now we cut to Lisa's classroom with Chalmers is so in the last episode, Abraham Simpson wanted to get rid of 3 states, and I had mentioned to everybody that Hawaii and Alaska were the last 2 to be entered into the states. And Chalmers is counting the stars on the flag to make sure it's up to date. And so I was right. In the last episode, I thought it was 1959. It was 1959. It was the last time U.S. added any states, which were Alaska and Hawaii. And so, if this episode aired in 93, so we figure if it's in the same year as the episode aired, this episode took place 34 years after the last 2 states were added. I would hope in 34 years, I get that the school district is poor, as we learned throughout multiple episodes where they can't afford books and all sorts of desks and chalkboards and all this stuff. I would still hope that the American flag is up to date.
Yeah, it is Springfield Elementary, man.
Yeah. So now Chalmers like, oh, well, the kids are as smart as you said they were to Skinner. And Skinner's like, well, let's just pick a student at random. Random.
Yep. And
he's like, how about this student? And Chalmers thinks, he's pointing out Ralph. He's like, no, Lisa. And so Chalmers asks Lisa when the Battle of New Orleans was. Mind you, this is 2nd grade.
Yeah.
But why would a 2nd grade? I didn't know that until high school, and I still don't even know when it was. And I think it was like the 1800s.
There was a battle in New Orleans? Was it with the Saints and the
Yeah, that's why the Saints were marching in.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But like, why would wouldn't you ask a second grader, what's 4 times 4?
Or 2 plus 2?
Like, wouldn't you ask him something basic that is like, okay, Lisa, I could potentially seeing maybe possibly knowing that because she is a genius. But even at second, like, even a middle schooler probably wouldn't know that answer.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That is a weird. I think they just wanted to shoehorn the next sentence in here that came from, what's a battle? And Chalmers like, that kid just
say what's a battle?
No. Skinner's like, no. He said, what's that rattle? Because, we've been having a problem with the heating duct. He's like, he's like, oh, I'm sick. And Chalmers like, so your R's turned into B's? Or your B's turned into R's? Yeah. Okay, mix. I guess like when you're like, if you have like an ear infection, he doesn't specify what he is sick, why he is sick. So Skinner could explain, oh yeah, I have a slight ear infection, so I can't hear as well.
But Chalmers definitely heard right.
Yes, he did. So now we see Bart getting out of the vent, and he like sees Willie's tractor, and he like kind of dreams that the tractor is like, ride me, Bart. You want to.
Dude, I just like how Bart was like free. He was ready to go, but he got pulled into some shenanigans.
And so now Bart hops on Willie's tractor. And so why is Chalmers checking the sandbox for urine?
Because the kid shouldn't be peeing in the sandbox.
But I don't think you need to lick the sand to see if anybody's peed in it. Regardless, I wouldn't want to. Children have been in that sandbox. Why would you taste it?
Principal Chalmers is very thorough. Or Super
it...
Super Nintendo Chalmers is very very thorough with his inspections.
So now he sees a 50-cent piece in the grass, and he's having trouble picking it up, and he's bent it over. And
like how he's wiggling his butt. He's like, this thing seems to be stuck between 2 flowers.
And so Bart runs over Chalmers with Willie's tractor, which I feel like would probably kill Chalmers.
At that point, at how fast Bart was going.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like he would not. He's like, I love how at impact, he's like, ow, 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 ow. Seymour, why do you have the cafeteria worker posing as a nurse?
And lunch lady Doris like, this is you skipped ahead a little bit, so we cut to the nurse's station, and Chalmers tells Seymour he's not going to get the promotion. He's going to give it to assistant superintendent Holloway, and Skinner's like, that drunk? He's like, he also pushes pills or pops pills.
It's a pill popper.
He's a pill popper and a drunk. Sorry, Skinner says that. Yep. So this is the first time we see Lunch Lady Doris, as Steve mentioned, as a school nurse. So in this episode, she mentions this is a way to get 2 paychecks, but in a later episode, we find out it's due to school budget cuts.
Yeah, I mean, both are probably true.
They could be.
Yep. And so Skinner expels Bart from school. He's like, I'm not wasting any time with you. You're expelled.
Yeah.
And Bart now imagines Willie's tractor laughing at him. And then, it's the thing just literally falls up. So I mean, I do think it's absolutely hilarious that Bart got in trouble.
Oh, this is definitely, grounds for expulsion.
Oh, yes. There is no way that any kid in any world would not get expelled, if not or arrested, for running someone over with a tractor.
I'm sorry, but Superintendent Chalmers is dead.
Yeah. And so we get Eye on Springfield. And then it's like, the Munchkins from The Wizard of Oz. Where are they now? And then they show the grave. and then a nudist camp for animals.
I love how they censor out the animals.
Hey, man, you gotta. I mean, have you ever seen a zebra schlong? Dude, I have. It's big. So
I love the fact that they have nudist camps for animals, because obviously the joke is
they're
animals
a zoo.
Yeah.
It's a zoo.
Yes, it's a zoo. And also animals are already naked.
Yep, exactly. But first, a look at the local holiday that is called Distasteful and Puerile by a panel of hillbillies. Whacking Day. In a tradition that dates back to the founding father Jebediah Springfield, every May 10th, residents gather to drive snakes to the center of town and whack the snake heaven. I mean, sounds like a fun tradition. But the funny thing is, I like how we don't see any snakes in Springfield until Whacking Day.
Yes. Well, we're not. I don't think we're outside a whole lot.
No, I guess the Simpson episodes don't take place too much in the outdoorsies areas. But, you know,
yeah.
I don't see too many snakes. I don't. So
no.
But then we learn that Lisa absolutely hates Whacking Day because
when did she turn vegan?
Vegetarian.
So is that season 6?
Yeah, season 6 or 7, I think. And so, I mean, I think she's kind of on her trend of being nice to animals, and she'll still eat pork chops now and again, but not quite vegetarian yet.
Okay.
And so then we get, a shot of Richard Nixon partaking in Whacking Day. And I was like, he starts whacking. It was a Secret Service agent or something.
No, it was some guy holding a snake so he could whack it, and he just whacks the guy instead.
God, Richard Nixon sucks.
I don't disagree.
And so Homer asks the kids, how school was. Interested parent. And Bart's like, well, I was expelled. That's my boy. Wait, what?
Because he wasn't expecting it. He wasn't expecting the expulsion.
Yep. And so I like how Bart's like, well, I could just be a 19th century Cockney bootblack.
Guy who shines boots.
Yes. Or a tester of dangerous food additives. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like Bart could, do that. I like how he turns into a grotesque monster, being a
wow, you skipped ahead.
Did I?
Yes.
I thought that was right at that when he got expelled.
No, because he's like, I'll just be he would just be a boot shiner, and Homer is like, no, we're going to find you another school. And so then they go to the Springfield Christian School, where they put the fun in fundamentalist dogma.
Yep.
And so the teacher, Bart is at the school, and Marge drops him off, and the teacher asks Bart to read from a psalm, and Bart's like, well, have you heard beans, magical fruit? And
he's like, no, I haven't. But like, beans were in the Old Testament, so okay, go ahead. Beans. The more you eat, the more you toot. And then they chase him out of the school. Get him!
And they're like, he takes many forms because he believes he's the devil.
So did Bart last only 10 minutes since Marge is still there? Still there?
5 minutes?
5 minutes at most? I mean, Marge, she was putting on makeup. She's like, I don't have to leave quite yet.
Yep.
And it's like, well, I guess I just can't be
now they're educated. Now they're at the dinner table, I believe.
Yeah, it's like, I guess I just can't be educated. Maybe I could get a job as a tasting dangerous food additives. And it's like, well, what's in this? I don't know, like some weird chemical. He drinks it. And then Bert turns into a gross monster. It's like, well, I guess it tastes good. And I guess the side effects is huge gigantism. Yeah. And then, Marge just goes and decides, you know what? I'll just teach yourself.
I mean, there are parents who do that.
Oh, yeah. Bart, my friend Ben was homeschooled. I don't exactly know why he ended up not going to school. I don't remember the reason.
Well, wasn't he in elementary school with you until 5th grade?
No, he didn't start homeschooling until high school. It was his last junior and senior year of high school, I believe.
He was homeschooled?
Yep.
Weird.
Yeah. I guess I honestly can't remember the reason, but yeah, so I knew someone that was homeschooled. And so now Lisa's sad, sitting at the table. It's like, what's wrong? I hate Whacking Day. But Homer's like, well, this is the greatest holiday, in the world.
So the greatest day of the year.
Greatest day of the year. And Lisa's like, it's wrong to kill snakes. And Homer says there's a battle between good and evil, and the evil inside us that cannot be resolved. And then we see evil Homer dancing on a grave. I am evil Homer. I am evil Homer.
Yeah, he's dancing on good Homer's grave.
Homer. Now, this would be a Funko Pop that I would want.
Yes.
I was watching this episode yesterday. I'm like, so for those of you guys that don't know, they recently announced some of the I Columbus Funko Pops. And when I was watching this episode for recording, I was like, now that would be an amazing Funko Pop. I would buy that one.
That would be a good moment Funko Pop.
Him
that would be
around the grave.
That would be a good one. I would buy that.
That'd be great.
I'm not a big fan of the movie moment pops. I have the banquet hall one from the Ghostbusters, but I would buy this one.
Yeah, this one would be great. I would absolutely love this one. And so now Bart's sitting on the couch and relaxing, and Lisa's, about ready to go to school. And it's like, Lisa, have fun at school. And then you hear Marge tell Bart, get dressed for school. And I bought a bell.
Yeah. And so, they decide for some reason, of all places in the house, I guess it maybe has the least amount of distractions. Also,
no TV. Where the hell is Maggie? Was she even in the garage?
No. Also, they use the garage for a running gag we'll get to in a second. But she used it for a classroom. And she's like, "Hi, I'm Mrs. Simpson." And then the bell rings, and they both freak out. She's like, "I gotta unplug that thing." And so
those bells, like obviously in school settings, they're meant to be really loud.
Yes,
because all the kids in all the halls everywhere gotta hear it. But in a garage, that actually probably echoes. Yeah, not a good place for it.
I love how Marge's like, "I'm your new teacher, Mrs. Simpson," and Bart's just like, sighs. So Marge is teaching Bart English, and I love how the blackboard she's using, she wrote, "The dog has fleas." The dog is both the subject and a noun. Has is verb, and fleas is whatever the end of the sentence is. I don't remember sentence structure. It's been a while. But so Bart starts making noises and throws a paper airplane, and it gets stuck in Marge's hair. And I love how she turns around and Bart's like, "It wasn't me.
I didn't do it."
Bart's the only person in the garage.
Yep.
Clearly he's the one that did it. So then, Marge is writing on the blackboard, and you hear a knock on the garage door, and Marge's like, "Oh, I invited Grandpa over as a guest speaker." So before we get into the quotes and what Grandpa was talking about. So he talks about how he was posing as a German cabaret singer when he got separated from his platoon during a raid in Dusseldorf. And the story is impossible not just because of how out there the flashback was, but because the German cabaret was outlawed in 1935, with many involved either fleeing the country or getting put in concentration camps due to their anti-Nazi views, and some of the performers possibly being on Hitler's list of races he thought weren't Aryan. The Dusseldorf raid that Grandpa was said to be a part of happened in 1942, so 7 years after the fact. However, Grandpa was probably being his senile self, as he mentioned that the only thing true about the story was that he cross-dressed in the 1940s and that the dresses back then had excellent designers.
Yeah, Bart's like, "Is that story true, Grandpa?" "Well, most of it. I did wear a dress for a period in the 40s. Oh, they had designers then."
So that's an interesting reference.
Well, we all know Grandpa's crazy, but he was in World War II, but he's crazy, so.
Yes. Again, he was being his senile old self. But I like the fact that obviously, his story was not true because of the historical significance of how everything went down.
Ein boobies.
Yeah, because in the flashback, Abe is wearing a dress and he's got fake breasts.
Yeah, he's Grandpa tips over and the coconuts that Grandpa was using as boobs.
Well, were they coconuts or were they sponges?
I don't know, but then Hitler stands up. It's like, those are 9 boobies.
So now Homer comes home from work and he opens up the garage and he almost hits Bart. He pulls in, which is a running gag. My question is, how bad, what was Homer doing in his car that he just didn't, it doesn't even seem like he was doing anything in the car. He was just waiting for the garage door. How do you not notice 3 people standing in your garage?
Well, maybe it just didn't well, no one probably told him that they were going to be doing school in the garage.
But like when I enter my garage, I can still out of my peripheral see the things in my garage. I think I would notice 3 people standing in my garage.
Maybe Homer was playing Snake on his Nokia phone.
I don't think they had that phone out yet in 1993.
I don't know. I definitely was playing it in 97. I think that phone was out. I think that Nokia brick phone was out in 93.
I don't think it was. You can look that up if you want, but I don't think it was. So now we cut to Homer inside the house with Marge, and he's showing off his new whacking stick, and he's like, whack, and Marge's like, ooh, whack, whack, ooh, ooh, ooh. And so apparently Marge is getting turned on by Homer pretending to whack things.
Yeah, Homer likes whacking it.
So now we cut to, Marge teaching Bart, and she wants Bart to read the book Johnny Tremaine by Esther Forbes. And this novel was written in 1943 and won the Newbery Medal for the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children. So apparently this is a children's book. And so Bart, doesn't want to read it, but Marge is like, well, it's about a kid who has his hand deformed. Bart's like, they should have named this book Johnny Deformed.
Deformed? Why didn't you say so?
So
they should have called this book Johnny Deformed.
How is this a child's book? I never read it.
Dude, there's a kid's book about a bear eating a rabbit, but they really don't say that he ate the rabbit, but he did eat the rabbit. You have to read between the lines. But there's a lot of books out there that I'm like, I read Elliot, I'm like, how is this a kid's book? Kids should be reading this.
Well, don't forget, there's children, not songs, but little, what are the little songs called? Like the rhymes. They're not poems, but you say London Bridge is falling down.
Yeah. Well, okay. Look at Disney movies. Almost every Disney movie, the first 10 minutes is the mom dying. I mean, come on.
Well, I'd rather watch Pixar movies where, we're not going to get into that with the moms. So now we get an Itchy and Scratchy episode with guest director Oliver Stone, where Scratchy is being assassinated by Itchy. And I think you're a big Oliver Stone fan, I think, right?
Maybe. Little bit. I've seen a few of them.
I'm not a huge Oliver, but it's kind of funny because I think it, Scratchy getting assassinated, I think is hilarious. Because he always dies in horrific ways.
Yep.
So, but we notice that, Bart has the TV on, but he's reading the book and he's into
it. He's into it. Yeah.
It's funny because I remember in school, there was a time, I forget which book I read, and Mom didn't believe I read the book. And she's like, well, tell me what the book was about. And I explained it plot point for plot point. She's like, oh, I guess you did read it. Because, don't get me wrong, I kind of had a habit of skimming things, but I read the book because I knew Mom was going to quiz me on it. So, read books. Book reading is good. So, Bart gives his book report to Marge, and Marge is like, well, if you're really into it, we could take a spring field trip to old Springfield town. And then we get
Springfield town.
And then we get the running gag where Homer opens up the garage and almost hitting Bart again because he's not paying attention again.
Well, he forgot.
And so now this is a weird scene only because now we get Homer outside. And Lisa's watching Homer practicing whacking fake snakes. He's got it set up and he's kind of like a ninja and whacking snakes. And why would Lisa be watching that? Just to admonish Homer for whacking snakes?
That's the only thing I could think of. But I like how, Lisa asks Homer if there's something wrong with her for hating Wacky Day. She's like, yes. And I mean, there's a really, really good explanation, for Homer advising Lisa on how to deal with her distaste for Whacking Day. To squeeze your rage into a bitter little ball and release it at an appropriate time. Like that day I hit the referee with a whiskey bottle. Remember that?
By the way, this line is also, I believe, brought up in a later episode where Lisa has drawings. So
really?
Put a pin in this. Yes.
Okay.
So put a pin in this line because I believe it's It is called back in a future episode.
Gotcha. And so now we visit Old Town, not Old Town Springfield, Old Springfield Town.
Yep.
And they're looking for a village idiot.
Yep.
Which Homer should definitely apply for.
Steve, you should apply for that job.
Ooh, I could do that. But the people, are interviewing for the job, and I like how the guy sitting at the table gets denied. It's like, we're looking for more of a village idiot, which is really, really good. So Marge and Bart are there, and as they're walking down the street, they see Barney. She's like, "Oh, Barney, are you the town drunk?" "No, I'm playing the town governor." Well, okay.
I mean, they could be one and the same. You don't know. You don't know.
I mean, Barney could have hit the trifecta: town drunk, village idiot, and governor. All three. I
mean, town drunk could be the village idiot.
Yeah, exactly. Barney could have got 3 paychecks. But so now we're seeing a slideshow from Jebediah Springfield. And, I love how it's the squeaky teen voice is the guy working there. Because,
the squeaky-voiced teen?
Yeah, sure. The squeaky-voiced teen. Or is it squeaky teen voice?
No, it's the squeaky-voiced teen.
Okay.
Do you know how to English properly? You need Marge to teach you how to read.
I do. Yep. And so I like how he's talking about the Battle of Ticonderoga, which was May 10th, 1775, which is also the first whacking day. And I like how Bart calls him out on it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, if the Battle of Ticonderoga was this date. Ticonderoga. He's like, and then I like how the camera comes out of the teapot. It's like, oh, he's on to us.
By the way, the Battle of Ticonderoga is a real battle.
Yes. Yes, it is. But I don't think Jebediah Springfield led that battle.
No, he did not.
And so now we cut to the Quickie Mart, the official headquarters for Whacking Day. And Apu tells all the customers that for Whacking Day, he's hit a snake in the store. And the first one to whack it gets a free squishy. And everyone, starts destroying the store looking for it.
And Apu.
Apu's like, oh, I should have thought this one through. Yeah. Now, yes, he really should have. But in all reality, the people of Springfield are completely insane. There was I was at a Games by James where they had a Waldo, like a Funko Pop Waldo around the store. And if you could find the Waldo, you got like a discount on something in the store. But I did not decide to tear apart said store to try and find the Waldo. I just looked around a little bit. I never found the Waldo, but I did not tear the store apart to try and find the Waldo.
Yeah, you know why you couldn't find the Waldo? Because it's in my pop room.
No, there was a Waldo at Games by James.
Are you sure they weren't lying to you?
It's possible they could have been lying to me. Just to get me to walk around the store and look for things. Yeah. So now we see Lou and Eddie doing target practice of snakes, and Wiggum tells them to aim for the body. I mean,
it's a good place to aim.
Good place to aim for a snake, yeah. And then I like how the cops missed. I don't know if it was Lou or Eddie, but one of them missed and hit a light bulb.
Yep.
So they're as good as stormtroopers, really.
Yep.
So now Lisa goes to Reverend Lovejoy for advice because she thinks that the Reverend would have a good idea. Yeah. And Lovejoy is sitting there reading the Bible, and it says, "And the Lord said, whack ye all the serpents which crawl on their bellies, and thy town shall be a beacon unto others." So you see, Lisa, even God himself endorses Whacking Day. Let me see that. No.
Isn't there something though in like the Old Testament or the New Testament about snakes?
I feel like since the snake. Okay, look at the Garden of Eden snake. Yeah. The people got kicked out of the Garden of Eden because the snake told Adam to eat the apple. I feel like that would endorse Whacking Day. I mean, a snake made us get kicked out of the Garden of Eden. So I feel like whacking snakes for that would be...
Can I just say how ridiculous it is that 2 people got kicked out for eating an apple?
Well, God did tell them not to eat any apples from that tree. That was their only rule.
But it's an apple.
The only rule.
Who gets tempted to eat an apple?
It must have been a good... The snake tempted them to eat it. The snake told him it was a great apple. We'll get to that later when we have Bible stories.
Okay.
And so now we get It's Whacking Day. It's finally here. And we get the Whacking Day song. Oh, whacking day, oh, whacking day, our hallowed snake skull cracking day. We'll break their backs, gouge out their eyes, their evil hearts will pulverize. Oh, whacking day, oh, whacking day, may God bestow his grace on thee.
And that was supposed to be to the tune of "Oh Christmas Tree," which clearly did not come through.
Well, I wasn't trying to sing it.
Clearly. But yes, they sing it to the tune of "Oh Christmas Tree." And so now we cut to Homer. How do people come from out of Springfield to partake in Whacking Day?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Because Homer is charging people $10 per axle to park on his lawn, and a guy with like a really long car. I love Homer is like, woohoo! And the guy in the car is like, yay! And I'm like, why are you celebrating, dude?
Dude has 10 axles, man.
Yeah, but why would the guy celebrate?
I don't know.
He just lost $100.
Yep. No, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But okay, so the one question I had for you, so how you live very close to the Packers Stadium, right?
Yes, Lambeau Field.
Do you live pretty close to there?
Not close to
really.
I live like 5 minutes away, but I do not live close enough to have people park on my lawn.
No, okay, so it's not walking distance, or is it walking distance, or could you physically not walk there because of highways and whatnot?
I can physically I could walk to it. However, I would have to walk through the town, and that is just completely just a waste of time.
Okay,
that would probably take me about 3 hours to walk from my house to Lambeau Field.
Oh wow, okay, so it's a 5-minute drive, but a 3-hour walk. That doesn't compute.
That's because if I take the highway, it is a 5-minute drive.
Well, right, but
you can't walk on the highway.
No,
you could, but it would be very dangerous. if you were to walk from my house to Lambeau Field, the shortest route, yeah, it would probably be like it's 5 miles roughly from my house to Lambeau.
Maybe if there was ever a Super Bowl there again, you could charge for parking on your lawn.
Probably, but Green Bay will never get a Super Bowl.
No, because it's too cold.
No, apparently we don't have enough hotel space.
Airbnb?
Like I've been told we don't have enough space to house people. I claim bull crap. I think they don't want to hold it here because it's in February and it's like 10 degrees outside.
Yeah, they don't want another ice bowl.
No. So anyway, now we cut to Barney and he's like whacking the ground.
This is great.
Because he's whacking snakes because he's like, he doesn't want to be attacked by snakes. And Lenny comes by. He's like, oh, Barney, are you getting ready for whacking day? And Barney's like, what's whacking day? He really sees snakes. So he's like, is he drunk and hallucinating?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So now, and then we cut to like a back alley where Quimby is like, hey, do you have the pre-waxed snakes? And they have pre-waxed snakes for Quimby.
I think they weren't actually real snakes. I bet they were just plastic snakes.
That's what that's what I always thought watching this episode. And
maybe they were real.
Because he says they were pre-waxed snakes.
Yeah.
So maybe his like Secret Service went out and waxed snakes for him. Or like they went to a pet store and just like assassinated a bunch of snakes at a pet store.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's definitely possible. And but yeah.
So then so now we cut back to Homer and he takes out his whacking stick for Marge and he asks Marge, should I whack fast or should I whack slow? Should I whack fast? And Marge is like, slow first and then fast. And then they giggle over the sexual innuendo.
Yep. And then we get Lisa one more time. She's like, Dad, please, for the last time, I beg you, don't lower yourself to the level of the mob. Lisa, maybe if I'm part of that mob, I can help steer it in a wise direction. Now, where's my giant foam cowboy hat and air horn?
And he finds it and he blows the air horn.
Yep.
And so now we get Quimby opening up the festivities. So like everybody's gathered around. I thought they already opened up the festivities with the song.
I guess not. Well, maybe that was just like pre gaming.
Yeah. So, but as we pan, like as we get there, we see a couple of snakes watching on, and they blink. Mind you, snakes do not blink. And so he's like, and help us.
Well, fish don't blink either, but look at Blinky.
Yeah. So, well, but he is a mutated fish.
Exactly. Maybe these are all mutated snakes.
Maybe. So he's like, and I'd like to welcome our guest, Larry White. And he's like, Barry White, which is, it's voiced by Barry White. It's like, but the card says Larry.
It's like I know my own name.
It's like, blah, 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 blah. So, Barry White doesn't know why he's there. So they're probably like, oh, can you like do this whacking day thing? He's like, sure. Like not, cause he's like, he sings about love. So he probably thought whacking day was some like sexual thing. Maybe. I don't know.
As we all did.
Yeah. And so Quimby like whispers in his ear about whacking day. And Barry White's like, you people should be disgusted. They all cheer. Yay.
Are they even listening to me? No.
So now we see the legitimate business club walking by, and they're just shooting snakes. They're not even hitting them with clubs. They're just straight up shooting them.
Yep.
Murdering them. And so now we cut to back to the Simpsons house, and Bart is reading The Truth About Whacking Day by Bob Woodward. And as if any of you don't know, Bob Woodward is one of the journalists who broke the Watergate scandal with Carl Bernstein. So that's kind of
where
cool.
they got the book. Well, that's kind of like where they got the book, Truth About Whacking Day, breaking the scandal.
Yeah, breaking the scandal. And so, Lisa tells Bart that she wants to protect the snakes, and Bart tells Lisa, snakes hear by vibrations on the ground, which is true. They sense vibrations. And so he suggests putting speakers to the ground and playing something with a lot of bass. And so Bart learns things when he sets his mind to it. Yep. He's not getting in trouble. And he's like, yeah, they'll be here like Oprah on a ham. I don't know. It's so funny. So Lisa looks through their records, and it's like the happy little elves and just random kids stuff. And nothing with bass. Nothing with bass. And so then Barry White walks by singing Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Baby. And Lisa hears him, and she's like, Barry White, can we borrow you for a second? And he's like, anything for a lady. That's so good. And so,
I want to tell you a fun fact quickly.
Okay.
So remember how you're like Bart can learn anything about the whole snake base thing?
Yeah.
You know where I learned about the whole vibration thing?
School?
No, Tremors. Because remember how they talk about the walking on the ground of the earthworms?
How did you not learn that in school?
I don't know. I just thought of that. I'm like, I learned that from Tremors.
I learned that in school.
Stop learning things in school. TV learns you better.
To be fair, whenever we watch Jeopardy with our parents, and I know something, my first response is, see? And you yelled at me for watching too much TV.
Yeah, TVs and Move Me gave me all the answers to Jeopardy, not school.
So then, we get Barry White actually singing Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Baby, while Lisa plays a bright pink bass guitar, which is the second time Lisa plays guitar. What's the first?
Around the cooling tower.
Oh, that was an acoustic guitar.
Yep, but it's a guitar.
Yeah, and
but here's the thing though. So now we've seen Lisa play a bass guitar, a real guitar, and a saxophone. So she is actually
no, Steve. It's pronounced saxophone.
Saxophone. So I mean, the funny thing is, I'd love to see if she plays any other instruments. I think after this point, I don't think we've ever seen her play any other instruments.
I think maybe the piano.
Maybe. Yeah, you're right. I think probably the piano. So, I mean, she's really well versed in instruments. And I mean, I get that saxophone's kind of her number one instrument, but I mean, music, she is really musically inclined.
Which is cool. And yeah. So Bart puts the speakers to the ground. So all the bass from Barry White's voice and the bass guitar. And the snakes come to the house. I love this scene. I really like it. It's so wholesome. One of the snakes stops on the doormat and he wipes his tail before he goes in. And Lisa, she's appreciative because the snake looks at Lisa and he does. That's a nice snake. Why are we whacking the snakes? The snakes are nice.
Yep.
And so then, we cut to inside and all the snakes are in there and one of the snakes sees Maggie and hisses at it. Maggie takes out its pacifier and sticks it in its mouth and it starts sucking on it, which I thought was funny. And so all the citizens come to the Simpsons house and they're rabble rousing because they're like, they want to whack the snakes. And Bart, tells the citizens that they've all been lied to that Whacking Day was started in 1924, not 1775, but it was started in 1924 as an excuse to beat up the Irish.
It's true. The one Irishman in town.
Yeah.
And so, they're all booing, but Lisa's like, how can you people hate snakes? Then Abe's like, I'm an old man. I hate everything. But Matlock. Ooh, it's on now. And then just walks away. He's just gone. And then Lisa's like, Mrs. Glick, who killed the rats that were in your house? The snakes did. And the citizens now love snakes. And I like how Quimby shows up in his limo. He's like, hey, people, look at all these snakes I whacked. Boo. And then he calls, you're a fickle muck. And then he just heads away. Drives away.
Well, no, before he drives away, somebody in the crowd he calls the crowd fickle, and one of the people in the crowd is like, give us hell, Quimby.
Oh, Quimby. Just can't make anyone happy. And so now all the snakes can leave the Simpson house and enjoy their life. And so Skinner's apparently a part of the mob, because why not? And Skinner's, I'm surprised Skinner's mother let him out to be part of the mob. And Skinner's impressed by Bart's independent learning. And, it's like, oh, we'd like to have you come back to school. And then Skinner's like, we'll reunite you with your chums. And Skinner's like, Nelson, Jimbo, and Skinner's like, oh, they're still locked in the school basement. Willie, to the school. And then he drives them on the back of the tractor, and they have mountain bikes in tow. And it's like, we'll give them the mountain bikes, and no one sues. And then Willie asks, well, what if they're dead? Then we'll ride the bikes to Mexico and to freedom. And Willie, under his breath, says, I'll dump you at the first toll booth. Oh, that was good.
That's a great book ending that they forgot about.
I know, they completely forgot about the bullies.
So how long between Whacking Day and... Because I feel like it had to be like was it 2 days, 3 days? Because Whacking Day is May 10th.
Yes.
So when does the episode start and
I don't know. I wish we would have gotten a date on that. That would have been great.
Because you can't go longer than 3 days without water and 7 days without food.
No, they had. Remember, it was a shelter. They probably didn't. Wasn't there a flash of them right before the end of the episode 2 of them in the room? Well, it's a shelter. It's a fallout shelter, man. They had supplies in there.
So maybe there was something in there to keep them.
Oh yeah, if you look around the room, I guess I could have wrote it down and mentioned. I didn't pause it when they showed. There was stuff in there. Now the funny thing is if you look at everyone, like now another thought would be like, well, they were being reported missing. Okay, Nelson, his father might have left already. Now, granted, a couple episodes ago, we had Nelson's father, coaching soccer. So maybe he's still around, maybe not. He could have already left for the cigarettes and not come back. Nelson's mom's a stripper who doesn't give a crap.
Yeah.
Jimbo, we never learn his family. Well, do we learn his family? I think we do learn his family background in the future.
Yeah.
But could be parents that don't care. Kearney is his own man, apparently. He has his own kid.
Yeah.
I don't know who the mom of that kid is, but maybe someone would report him missing. So maybe someone does, maybe someone doesn't care or realizes that they're missing.
Yeah.
That I don't know, but that's another thought. Wouldn't they be reported missing at some point?
Or people just don't care because they're bullies.
Yeah, they're just bullies. And I mean, Skinner did have the thing about, would anyone care if we just locked him and threw away the key?
Yeah.
So, final thoughts on this episode. I'm definitely going a 5. Whacking Day is probably one of my top 10s. I mean, it's such a great episode. I mean, I love Barry White. I love, this is kind of a cool, sight of Bart doing something else and having the ability to learn. Like,
yes.
The thing we notice most about Bart in a lot of episodes is he's dumb, doesn't have any, but when you actually take Bart out of a school atmosphere and he doesn't have bullies to be with, doesn't have just things around, doesn't have stuff to keep him distracted, pranking Principal Skinner or,
Yeah, but he chooses to do that stuff. He could easily just not choose to do that.
He could, but school gives him that. Like, okay, I think the biggest thing, and when Skinner says, he likes his independent learning, when he gets out of the vent, he could have just ran away and escaped. But he saw the tractor and something triggered his brain to do that. But at home, he doesn't have those distractions anymore.
He can prank Homer at home. He can prank Lisa
but
at
Lisa's
home.
But Homer's at work, Lisa's at school. He doesn't have that distraction until after the school hours.
But even when we saw him, getting taught by Marge, he made noises and threw stuff at her.
Yeah, but eventually he got to the point of reading and learning things about snakes and science. And so I think it just melted away. Like, it took him a few minutes for it to melt away. But no, I love how the episode opens too, because the introduction to Super Nintendo Chalmers. Okay, intended Chalmers. We'll stop calling him that until we get to it. But I like how introducing a new character. We get to see how crazy the school is. I mean, Homer and his ninja skills. I mean, when he gets into a thing, he really gets into a thing. Like, he sets his mind to it, and normally we see Homer pretty scatterbrained by a lot of things, but when he is intent on doing something, he really wants to. And I love evil Homer, so I'm going to go with a 5. Everything's coming up Milhouse for this episode.
It's an enjoyable episode. It's not my top 10. There are moments in this episode that are fantastic. It's a good episode. I would watch it if it comes on. I'm not as high on it as Steve. I'm going to go with 4 sprinkles. It's funny. It's delightful. Bart learns. It's not to that level where it's a quote unquote perfect episode. Some of it feels a little bit disjointed to me. So I'm going to go with 4 sprinkles. If it comes on, I'm watching it for sure. But I'm not going to go out and seek this episode.
Oh, I would wholeheartedly. All right, so let's finish it up with our character profile. And this week we have Richard Nixon. He's our character we're profiling today. Not much to talk about him because we really don't want to talk much about him. But his identity, one-time president of the United States.
Yep.
His nickname, Tricky Dick.
Yep.
His political affiliation, Republican. And his relation to Springfield, participated in clubbing to death of snakes on Whacking Day, which he really didn't do. Sold his soul to Devil Flanders. Huh. So when we get to that Halloween episode, canon. When we get to that Halloween episode, when Homer sells his soul to the for a donut, when they have the trial, Nixon is one of those people that are the jury for the trial. Canon. Okay. Bart once did an imitation of him using his butt.
Yep.
I am not a crook. And tried to curry public favor by endorsing Duff.
After JFK endorsed Duff.
Yes. I also like to express my fondness for that particular beer.
Yeah.
All right, so people, you can find us on our social medias on Facebook, The Simpsons Did It Podcast, or tag us at The Simpsons Did It Pod. On Instagram, Simpsons Did It Pod. On Twitter, Simpsons Did It PC. And then, if you'd like to donate to our cause and fondness for Simpsons, head over to buymeacoffee.com/Simpsons Did It and donate 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever you like. Donate away. If you don't want to donate, not a problem, but leave us comments or what you like about our show. And if you guys are Apple Podcast listeners, please head over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review us on there. It just helps our algorithm and gets more people to listen, and I'm glad our subscribership is growing, so that's really cool. But that just comes down to you guys rating and reviewing us and leaving us feedback. And lastly for social media, and I guess, I don't know, is YouTube social media considered these days?
Yes.
All right, so you head over to YouTube, type in The Simpsons Did It podcast, and find our channel on there and listen to all our backlogged episodes on there. Especially if you're away from your regular listening device, or if that's just how you listen to your media. You can find us on there. And lastly, head over to your cell phone and dial a phone number. Just hit that little call button on there and dial 612-584-0986 and leave us a voicemail. And you can leave us a voicemail about many things, what you like, what you don't like, what you want us to do. Just give us some friendly feedback. Things you like about episodes that we did, or, you can definitely, I would say, let us know and we can add that to our podcast. One other thing I'm going to mention, I'll mention it for the next 3 episodes since we're coming up on season 5. We're going to start recording episodes for season 5 in December. So if there's anything you guys would like us to talk about or mention for season 5, episodes 4 through 10, when you call, give the name of the episode, and just something you'd like us to talk about, or maybe your favorite thing about those episodes. So now that we are in the future and have a phone number and ready to rock and roll, we can actually start getting your stuff for the episodes we're going to record. So as of this episode, anything you leave us should be for episodes 4 through 10. And we will put that on the air. So until next time, I'm Steven Skolansky.
I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.
Shh.